What up, guys and girls? Another brand new video coming at you today. We are back for another round of the AOR Oceania on the Xbox One platform for season number 5. We're here for round number 20 here at the Brazilian Grand Prix. What is actually going to be my final race of season 5, which I'll get into that probably a little bit later on. So 220 points between New Zealand Ryan and LSCM Alan. You can check out where your favourite drivers are as always. We're still P11 there on 52 points, 9 points clear of LSE and the Butler. There are 378 points between Ferrari and Haas. Alfa Romeo are in P6 there. But welcome to to start with, very wet Interlagos. As New Zealand Venom's now left the session here. And, well, to start with, this wasn't really an ideal situation here because... literally for this round, we only had 6 people turn up. Originally, it was 6 people that turned up. And, yeah, I know what you're probably thinking, but literally I tried my absolute best to, have enough people there for a stream, which I think the number we were trying to get there was probably about 10 was probably be enough for a stream there, but obviously a few people at last-minute ideas there, yeah, I mean, I don't really want to discuss it here because I don't really want to have any feuds with anybody else there. But anyway, basically, the 6 of us that turned up there, I did ask them whether we should have postponed the race, not even have the race at all, whether we just should continue on and have this race, which is pretty much what we're doing now. So what was now 6 is now obviously now 5. This one, I don't know whether we'll get New Zealand Venom back for this one at all at the moment here, but yeah, I mean, to say I was probably a little bit embarrassed is a bit of an understatement there, but must say thank you to all the guys that actually turned up and wanted to race in this race. It does really mean a lot, and the people that actually wanted to race here, and well. I mean, yes, the championship and whatnot is all over and done with. I get that and whatnot here, but end of the day, we still want to race anyway. So anyway, we'll just see what we can do here, I suppose. But yeah, like I mentioned as well earlier on, this is actually my last race for season 5. Basically, because I missed the final round at Abu Dhabi because I was away having my eyes checked. I think that was the weekend. That was. Was it? No, sorry, I'll take that back. It was something else. Yeah, what was it? I was just, I know I was away for something. Oh yeah, that's right, because I was over in Canberra for the Women's Cricket Tri-Series. So that's why I was away. This was too long ago, okay? I'm way over the top here. I'm doing this at 5 minutes to 1 a.m. in the morning here, so do this voice recording anyway. But anyway, we obviously... out on the set of intermediate tyres at the moment there. We're actually going to improve on our lap time there on that second run there, but it's sort of all fell away there coming around John Cow there at turn 12 and pretty much lost it, all that margin there. Only gained it by 4 1,000ths of a second.
Okay, I think the track will be drying out quite soon. Mind you don't burn out your tyres.
That's an interesting message as well, because it was planning to dry out for the rest of the qualifying session as well. So this could be potentially a decent race. Like Brazil in the past has actually been pretty decent in the past for myself. Obviously, got my best ever result here of P4, I think it was in season 4. So, and I think I had a decent-ish result in season 3. Yeah, or decent-ish. No, actually, I'll take that back. I DNF'd, actually, because I got spun around by fans. But anyway, currently at the moment, LSE and the Butler leads the way ahead of Laggy and myself. Then you got Brazuca and Conrad, obviously Venom. Who I originally thought was actually going to had internet issues or something. Would actually join back, but in the end he didn't join back, and there was obviously a reason afterwards that he did message me about, which... I mean, yeah, probably had no issues about anyway, but it is what it is anyway. Literally, I couldn't change it anyway, so we're pretty much going to have to stick it out here and just see what we can do here. So, considering the last race in the United States, I've put myself onto the front row. I thought this was maybe an opportunity to maybe get my first ever pole in AOR F1. Of course, I mean, trying my ass off here to just try and get on the front row well, I've got on the front row a couple of times, but never had a pole. I don't even remember the last time I had a pole in AOR. It's probably when I was back in the F2 days. But anyway, this is my fastest lap of the qualifying session. So we're heading down now into the Cita de Largo here. Obviously on the soft compounded tyres here. A nice run there through turn 5, now up into turn 6 and 7 here. Nice and close here to the curve here, and just run it out a little bit wide there. Down to turn 8, get it nice and tight. Missed the apex just a tiny bit and lose the back end a little bit there, which means I missed the apex through turn 9 there, which probably wasn't the ideal line through there, but now turn 10, just make sure we get it nice and tight through here. Get up in the third gear, obviously just trying to avoid the wheel spin. Get nice and tight here. Don't want to get too much close to the little curb here. You can run it as wide as you can through there. And now to Junko out of the final corner there. We're purple actually through the middle sector here. Now the quality session is pretty much done and dusted here. But we can see now Conrad's on provisional poles. Now it's been taken now by Brazuca with a 1 minute 7 point. No, 1 minute 9 point. What was it? A 9. I think it was a 9.5 or something. No. Let me try that again there. Yeah, what was my lap time? I didn't actually write it down. That really helps there. I think it's a 1 minute 9.5 or something or other. But yeah, it was just enough to pit Brazuca in the end. But I had a feeling that Laggy would take pole position, and I was pretty much right there at the end there. So yeah, this will pretty much be a quick rundown here of what happened in qualifying there. So you can see 1 minute 9.2 for Laggy. Pretty much got the job in the end. Ahead of myself, put on the front row again. Ahead of Brazuca. Ellis in the Butler qualified on the medium tyres will be very interesting. And you got Conrad, and obviously Venom didn't take it. It's time to go racing for the Brazilian Grand Prix. All right, welcome to the grid for the Brazilian Grand Prix under much clearer skies than what it was back in qualifying, that is for sure. We're on the front row again. Race strategy-wise now, this was a little bit of a tricky one here because in the past on the F1 games, like tyre wear has been very, very critical around here. And I think last season as well might have been, well, it could probably, what was it last season? We'll get off now for the formation lap here.
Okay, our system checks are good. We need to stay in formation and start bringing the car up to temperature, please. Get some load into the tyres and work the brakes. We want them nice and warm by the end of the lap. Thank you, Jeff, as always. But yeah, tyre wear sort of been a little bit critical here last. I think from memory, last on F1 2018, I think it was like softs to hards. But I have seen a few races in Brazil here that you can push your soft tyres quite a fair way, and you can easily make the softs to medium tyre strategy work. So it'll be interesting to see how this plays out here. We'll have to wait and see. But here we go. We're all set for round number 20 here. Brazil, 5 red lights. Let's do it around the Interlagos. And it's a decent start off the line there compared to Laggy. We'll have the line here into turn 1 here, but we've got the much tighter line here, and Laggy will go right around the outside here as we just managed to keep ahead of, actually it was Ellis and the Butler there who's actually got the jump ahead of his teammate there. And obviously Conrad in position 5 there, so nothing much has really changed there off the start there. But had a little bit of a look there, just giving Laggy like to say hello, I'm here sort of thing. But now run up here into turn 6 I should say for the first time. And we sort of sort of keeping it clean. It is a long race and whatnot, 36 laps around here, so yeah, so it's a very long race here, but Ellis in the butt, like I mentioned, is on the medium compounded tyres, which I thought at the time might be maybe the wrong move here, but he manages to have some decent pace. He might actually maybe play a factor a little bit later on in the race. But here we go, lap 2 here, trying to get a good run here. Obviously DRS won't be enabled to lap 3. So had a little bit of a look down there into turn 4. Actually outbraked myself there, so that really ruined my momentum there. It sort of put me back a little bit there, back into the waiting arms of Ellis and the Butler there. But as we DRS has been enabled. DRS now enabled as Laggy sets fast lap
of the race, but we got the fastest first and final sector there.
Small amount of time to the car behind. Keep pushing.
And yeah, I think it was mainly because, I don't know why, you can see again we're going purple through sector 1 there. I think it was mainly the sector 2 that was sort of maybe my little struggle here. Can't remember the setup, what I actually done, whether I actually was running lowish setup wings because of the long straights around here. I think you saw then coming through Junkau there, I think Laggy had a little bit of a slide coming out of Junkau there. That sort of lost him a bit of momentum here, but we sort of started to pull away here as we said now.
Great work. That's a new fastest lap for the race.
I think Laggy said like an 11 something or other. Can't remember. I don't think it was 11. It was either 11.9 or 11.7. Anyway, you would have seen it on the top of your screen anyway if you saw it very quickly enough. But we set the fastest lap of the race with an 11.4. Again, we're setting purple first sector times here. So and we see now we're sort of starting to build a bit of a gap behind as well to Butler, as we see here on lap 5 here. Still trying to close in here on Laggy here. But another little look here, and again going purple through sector 1 there. But you see sort of the groups are starting to pan themselves out a little bit here to go a little bit further on in this race. So lap to do lap 5, Laggy having a little bit of a slide coming out of turn 10 here, and this is obviously very noticeable throughout this race as well. There was just some points during on the racetrack where just Laggy obviously maybe didn't quite feel comfortable, maybe just going down the gears way too early or something. I don't actually know, but purple again in the first and third sectors, so got some pretty decent speed, probably mainly on the straights. I think it was mainly the choice of setup I went for here. But again, now here we go, making Laggy cover down the inside here and into Descida de Largo, trying to get a little bit of the crisscross going on here, but didn't quite work out at the end. There's not too many passing spots around here that you can maybe try and have a go around here. But you can see Laggy again getting very sideways again. You can just see that what I mentioned is not long ago, coming out of Junkau. Just probably, I don't know what it was, just going down the gears too early or something, or outbraked itself here. But now we've got the run here, got the DRS open here, down on the front straight here. We're going to take the lead of the race here, going down into turn 1 as we get it done. And I think Brazuca's actually, and the two Red Bulls, I should say, are actually having a little bit of a battle there for the final spot on the podium here. But now it's the opposite effect now, because Laggy's now got the DRS. Now I've got to cover down the inside here. I braked very early there. I think Laggy may have braked a little bit later than me. I'm not entirely sure there, but manages to get the position back. That was a fair move there from Laggy, I've got to say. But anyway.
Their tyres are 8 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 11.9. You're falling back by 1/10 a lap.
Just getting updates.
The gap behind us is 2.4 seconds. They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 8 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:12.0.
Okay, so both Laggy and Butler have got 0 penalties at the moment here. And Brazil's not really much of a corner cutting track around here. There's probably mainly where the centre S is, and there's probably a couple others, I'm not entirely sure. But again, making Laggy go down the defensive line here and down to Descida de Largo. But again, he manages to hang on for the time being here. There was a couple of moments throughout the race. Obviously, we're skipping ahead, obviously, because there was a couple of laps where sort of, I don't know what you can say, I backed off a little bit there. But yeah, we sort of just didn't quite have the sort of back off a little bit there, but maybe just didn't quite have enough pace in the end. We were sort of toing and froing quite a bit here. We sort of gained a little bit of time. Laggy would gain a bit of time on me, and then I would bring it back a little bit. As you can see, a couple of laps later, lap 14, we're back on him, his rear end again. And you would have seen as well that I've actually switched the tyre strategies. We tried to do a bit of a crisscross here. It nearly sort of pays off here. Thankfully, let's just have enough room there. Only just, mind you, but that was all fair. No damage done. So we've all kept this sort of clean. And and obviously, if you saw the US video, the previous video of AOR, you would have known that Laggy, obviously I was pretty pissed off with Laggy after what happened during qualifying. But yeah, thankfully, I think we're managing to keep clean so far here in this race here as we come into lap 16. But you would have seen earlier that I actually changed my tyre strategy to the medium compound tyres, and the tyres actually didn't feel too bad at this point. So this is probably the longest I think we've ever taken a set of tyres on this track here. So on to lap 17 now, but I mean, we're obviously, I was pissed off with Laggy last week, but I mean, we've had great racing battles in the past, whether it's F2 or when we were teammates back in F1. We still get on it right here as there's a yellow flag behind. I think it's Brazuca that may have gone for a little bit of a spin down to the centre S's there. So, and he was actually hanging on pretty decently well to the back of his teammate, the Butler there. So fair play to Brazuca there, but I think maybe the tyres are starting to dissipate a little bit there. As this is sort of the moment, it's like when as people come in here, and Laggy now comes in at the end of lap 17 here. So I'm trying a little bit of an overcut here. Now, probably looking back at the footage now, whether an undercut would have been the ideal solution, I don't actually know, but I just thought at the time that maybe the overcut, like stopping one lap later, having one lap fresher tyres, might have been a little bit of an advantage here. But I was literally giving it my absolute all here on the way to the pit lane, which we are going to pit pretty much at about half race distance now. We're going to obviously try and get it slowed down here as we get it nicely slowed down here. There we go. So into the pit lane we go. Butler obviously continues on. It's a bit unknown about when he'll come in and put on the soft compounded tyres, but like I said, he could play a factor later on in this race. So here we go. The medium tyres are now on. Away we go. Now Laggy's coming down the front straight here. So interesting to see where we rejoin here.
That was our last stop.
Literally just trying to make sure I give it my absolute everything coming out of the pit lane here, and obviously try not to hit the wall that cost me possibly a championship back in season 2 and F2, but we're not going to delve into those details. We just lost a little bit of ground here to Laggy coming out of the pit lane, but don't think it's by much, not really much at all here, but you'll see here coming through turn 8 there, we sort of gained it back in an instant there because Laggy actually made a little error. Just, I think, locking the rears through turn 8, but then I make, well, this is lap 19 actually, and I think this season, I made a little error there, and yeah, nothing much really happened here between these guys. Now Laggy says a 10.9, we said an 11.4, I think that was in lap, so just not quite got quick enough here as Butler now comes in and puts on the soft compounded tyres. Interesting to see what kind of pace he has later on in the race here, but we said an 11.3 now on this lap here, so I think Laggy's maybe just has a little bit more pacey on the medium tyres. Obviously, I was a little bit surprised about here, but we'll see what we can do here. This is actually my fastest lap of the race here, which we're going to stick on board here. Just trying to close in front there on Laggy in front there, obviously. But we're just about under a 10th in the green there for sector 1 here. Now coming through up to turn 6 in Ferradura. And the Curva de Laranjian. Oh my God, I can't even do my pronunciations right. I do apologise if I get those wrong. Now through into turn 9 here. And obviously just trying to avoid the wheel spin coming out of the corners now into turn 10, which is another tricky corner. Of course, famous spot where Lewis Hamilton and Alex Albon, pretty much where Lewis, what's the wording? Yeah, well, had that little incident and cost Alexander Albon a possible podium for that race in 2019. But anyway, sector 2 there, we were pretty a little bit more quicker there. We were about 3.33 ahead, and then obviously finished with an 11 flat here. But now Butler with a 10.2 on that lap has actually got the pace as we get our was it our first track limits warning? Might be actually. I don't know, it was my first or second.
Fresh mediums. Their tyres are 5 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 11.4. You're gaining by 0.3 a lap. Good work.
Just checking again with Laggy, no penalty situation. What about Butler behind?
Our gap behind is 2.2 seconds. They're on fresh softs. Their tyres are 3 laps old. The time last lap was a 1:10.7.
Okay, so Butler has 0 penalties either, but we've managed to catch up to the DRS again of Laggy. And then it fails on us here.
There is a fault to the DRS. You won't be able to open the rear wing. We're working on a fix. Stay out.
So that's possibly going to have a big effect now for the rest of this race. We've still got 11 laps to go.
You want 0.5 a lap.
On this lap, you can see right up the back end here of Laggy actually get our first 3 second time penalty of the race.
Time penalty for that Last
So
incident.
I don't know whether that was that previous warning, and not the one that got us the penalty, but the warning before that, whether that was the second or the first, I'm not entirely sure. But anyway, you can see the effect here. I mean, we're still keeping in touch here with Laggy, but without the DRS, it's not really helping here. And with it, I probably would have kept ahead of Ellis and the Butler here, but now with his pace, he's going to have a look up the inside here. And, well, to be honest, don't really put up much of a fight at all here, because with the pace that he's got and without my DRS, I've pretty much got no chance here. So he's now, like I said, Butler's going to be a big factor here. May actually win this race if he can get past Laggy and start maybe pull away here, and he could literally win his race and pick up his first AOR victory. Because obviously Laggy took his first victory the last time out in the United States. I mean, something was obviously these last few rounds is good opportunity for some new guys to maybe get on the board here in the F1 tier especially. I think Butler had a little bit of a go there in the turn one, but I think he sort of played it patiently. Yeah, but you can see the gaps now with us three compared to the next two, Brazuca and Conrad. You can see where those guys are pretty much in nearly sector three. Butler has a look up the inside there in the turn four to see the Delago. It didn't quite pull it off there, may have not quite been up there far enough there at all, but you see Butler just all over the back of him here, locking in the brakes and whatnot. I actually thought he had a bit of a moment there, but that was actually lag. So, yeah, my bad there. And still coming in the end of start lap 29, the DRS is still broken here. So, there's that Lando Norris would say, it's broken. Or whatnot. I probably can't do a best Lando Norris impersonation anyway. But Butler now takes the race lead off of Laggy. I think Laggy might have a little bit of a fight back here coming down into to see the Delago here, which he does. Butler does have to cover the inside line there. Don't actually know whether Laggy got the DRS or not, but I think now Butler may have got the move.
They're on old mediums. Their tyres are 11 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 11.6. You're gaining by 1/10 a lap.
So it's just little minute how close it was catching up to Laggy here, but come the end of lap 30, we finally, I think, now got the DRS back online for us, so that's going to be an added bonus for us, and hopefully our battle to getting into second position there as we get right up close there to the back end as we get another warning there. So they're literally using up all the warnings I can here later in this race here, but at this point in time, even though that I've got the 3-second time penalty, I was still up for a bit of a battle towards the end of the race, and Butler started to pull away as well with his soft compound tyres. So at this rate, if he can keep a good gap and avoid any penalties, then he can go on to win this race. Otherwise, if he has a penalty later on, then Laggy will pick up his second win. It'll be back-to-back victories, and the Ferrari victories will continue for season 5. But anyway, now we're closing in a lot more closer now than what we've been so far, as we have a look up the inside here into turn 4. But again, Laggy goes right around the outside and manages to do it, even with a little bit of maybe a tiny bit of an extension there, but that was all good through there. Had a little look going up to turn 6 there, but not really quite close enough here. But yeah, I was more than up for the fight here, but even though basically I just had to try and get past Laggy as quick as I could, then maybe try and build a 3-second gap there, but that doesn't help when you lose the back end coming out of Junqual there. So that lost me all my momentum through there. At lap 33 now, again, on the back end of the DRS here. Now have a little look up the inside, but not really quite close enough this time around. So just sort of playing it patiently here. And I mean, obviously I was just trying to get past Laggy as quickly as possible here, as he has a little slide coming through turn 8. So that's not the first time he's done that. It's probably, I don't know exactly what number slide he's had this race, but that really brought me right back up to the rear end of that Ferrari. But now we're obviously going to try hopefully get a decent run off the of Junqual here, just to see if we can get a good run now going down into turn 1, which we've got a much better run here. We're much closer now, so we can have a good opportunity here to maybe go for the move down into turn 1. As we have a little bit of a look here, and I don't think Laggy's going to put up much of a fight here, so side by side through here, managing just to keep each other just enough room here. And even when we were battling here, and we're going to have the DRS as well, we pretty much had no choice but to take the pit lane exit line there. But now we've moved up into position 2 here, and now it's just a case of trying to pull away here. But even when I was racing and looking back and on the footage of this race as well, sort of felt like the good old days of F2.
Soft. Their tyres are 13 laps old. The time last lap was a 1 minute 11.1.
And again, just checking to see whether Laggy had any penalties or not, but just making him go the long way around here, brake deep as we dare, just to make sure he doesn't get the good run off us here. But I think he might actually have the much better run here. He's actually take the pit lane exit again. Actually get a warning there. I don't know why you would get a warning there for like literally cutting through to the pit lane. I mean, literally I was just covering the inside line there. But anyway, Laggy went around the outside and got the move back. So yeah, this sort of, like I was saying, this is sort of feeling like the good old days of F2 when myself and Laggy had pretty decent battles all around. But obviously we've definitely come a long way.
1 lap of fuel remaining.
But obviously now he's, well, back in season 3, I do remember he did turn the racing line off and join me up in the top tier. Obviously we were teammates for that season, but obviously now he's put the racing line back on there, and I hope one of these days he can hopefully maybe turn the racing line off again one day possibly, but
This is your
I don't know. We'll wait and see anyway. But anyway, final lap of the race now. You can see Ellisy and the Butler's got a pretty decent gap out in front here. But this sort of battle, I mean, yeah, it's pretty much done and dusted here, even though I got the 3-second time penalty. I was actually hoping that Laggy would get a penalty as well. We're having a look up the inside here into turn 4. Not quite close enough in the end there, but yeah, you can just see that where everyone is. You can see where Butler, Laggy and myself are compared to both Brazuca and Conrad. I think Brazuca's just about to cross the line to start his final lap, and Conrad's still in the last bit of sector 3. About to start his final lap, but still managing to keep on to the back end.
He's catching you by 5/10 a lap, 5/10.
As again, Laggy slides it through turn 10 there, so I wouldn't be surprised if these tyres are maybe starting to go away here, but for me, my tyres felt actually a bit fine as we run very wide through there. Trying to get a decent run onto the front straight here, but we just lose the rear end, and that was pretty much game, set and match there, unfortunately. So we're going to have to settle here, well, for our first ever podium here in AOR F1 as Butler comes across the line to take the victory, but somewhere along the line Butler actually copped a penalty. I don't know exactly whether that was for corner cutting or what, but unfortunately his race win is going to have to wait a little bit longer. So Laggy in the end does take his second victory of the season and back-to-back victories. And there's Ferrari juggernaut of the race victories just continue on here. Well, even though if you count Ferrari-powered engines as well, if you count LSM Allen as well, but and obviously Warden, the other race victor, I think, in the Racing Point. But anyway, you probably can guess the race results at this point in time, so I'll make it pretty quickly at the end of this video anyway. So there's the final race results, and yeah, Butler did get a 5-second penalty or 3-second penalty. You'll see it there on your screen there anyway, but unfortunately it did cost him the race victory. And Penske managed to went on to take the Xbox F2 victory in the end and take the championship, so big congratulations to him. There's the championship standings. Not much has changed really there. Laggy did manage to secure P3 in the title. Obviously, we were 5 points ahead of Ellisy and the Butler, but of course I knew that wouldn't last long because obviously I was missing the last round. 403 points now between Ferrari and Haas, and Alfa Romeo now jumped up into P3 thanks to me. But there's the final results there for Abu Dhabi, although don't count PS4 because that was their second to last round because they were catching up on Brazil. So that's how the championship standings ended up in the end. So Ryan comfortably ahead of LSM Allen there, and obviously with Butler's victory he managed to move up into P8. We finished up in position 12 there on 67 points in the end, so not too bad. And then Kyle was Lockster, running out the 16 cars to score points. Ferrari do get the Constructors' Championship over Haas. Racing Point take P3 ahead of McLaren. Alfa Romeo dropped to 5th because my teammate didn't even bother to show up in the end, even though he did say that he was going to show up and actually get some decent points, but never did anyway. Anyway, it was a great season all around. So big thank you to everybody that took part in the whole season overall. It was a hell of a lot of fun, even though the last few rounds were probably a little bit But anyway, big thanks to my teammate as well, even though I've just given him a little bit of a serving there. It was a lot of fun with Matt as always, but yeah, great job all around him. And big thanks to all the commentators, the streamer that did all the season 5. You all know who you are. at this point in time. Thanks to all the AOR and the sponsors, as always. That's what else is there? Oh yeah, big thank you to you guys and girls as well for watching these videos as well. Really means a lot. If it doesn't matter how many views they get, whether they get a lot of views or very minimal views anyway, but it does really mean a lot. But yeah, give it a big smash on that like button if you enjoyed it, and leave your comments down below. Subscribe to my channel for plenty more AOR Oceania content on F1 2019, plus plenty more video gaming content as well. As always, all my social media links will be down in the description, plus you can check the links out for the AOR YouTube and the website as well as their Twitter. It's Season 6. I don't know at this stage. You just have to wait and see, I think, whether we race there or not. Like I said, you'll have to wait and see, but hopefully we'll have a pretty decent championship battle as well. But yeah, until the next one, it is goodbye, and I'll see you all next time.